Welcome to the Deal Reporter podcast. Hello, I'm Juliana Needham. Joining me this week are two of Deal Reporter's journalists, Alex Tarrant to talk about Celesio and Emiliano Molino to talk about Italian banks. But first, a quick roundup of recent M&A and other corporate activity. We've seen Alliance Oil, a Swedish-listed oil and gas company with assets in Russia and Kazakhstan, receive a takeover bid from its biggest shareholder, Alliance Group. That deal is structured as an amalgamation, which is similar to a scheme of arrangement, but under Bermuda law, which is where the company is registered. In the telecom space, Telecom Italia announced it will issue €1.3 billion worth of mandatory convertible bonds as part of a new industrial plan. The company had been expected to do a rights issue. Also in Italy, we reported that Italian drinks company Campari has turned down approaches from private equity groups earlier this year as it wants to remain independent. And Intercontinental Exchange Group completed its takeover of New York Stock Exchange Euronext. On the ECM front, we reported that Alcatel-Lucent's narrow rights issue discount was down to the group's desire to complete the cash call using the board's existing permission without having to hold a general meeting. Now, Alex, coming to you, you're following Celesio's takeover by McKesson. It looks like an exciting situation. This tends to be expected now with German deals, doesn't it?
Yes, well, we've had months of rumours now that Celesio's majority owner, Franz Haniel, wanted out of its 50.01% stake. And so the buyer there would have to launch a mandatory offer for the rest of the company. Three names kept popping up: Cardinal, CVS Healthcare and McKesson. These are American companies wanting scale in the pharmaceutical wholesaling industry. It turns out that McKesson, they were the only ones that talked firm intentions on buying, and so they ended up offering €23 a share, quite a big premium to what Celesio was trading at, and a bit more than what most people were expecting.
But Celesio's share price has been trading above the offer price. Is there someone else out there?
Well, we don't think so. At least there was no auction process, so McKesson really did seem the only one intent on buying. But what we do have is shareholder activism, and that's made this pretty exciting. There was lots of market chatter initially from convertible bond investors after the deal had been announced that one or two activists were buying up Celesio's 2014 and 2018 CBs. And then, more recently, we've got confirmation that Elliott, most recently of Cable Deutschland fame, the hedge fund, had almost 12% of Celesio's shares, and that really got people going.
And so what's Elliott's intention here?
Well, like in the Vodafone Cable Deutschland deal, it's expected that McKesson will go for a domination agreement, which will give it operational control over Celesio without owning 100% of its share capital. And to get this, McKesson will need 75% approval at an EGM of Celesio. Now, they'll have to offer an independent fair value price as part of this process to minorities who don't sell into the initial tender from McKesson. Now, this is what got everyone excited in the Vodafone Cable Deutschland deal. They thought there that this valuation could be much higher than the offer. It's not so much in this case, at least to people we're speaking to. There's not much talk of that independent valuation coming out much higher than Euro 23. So people close to the deal are saying they expect Elliott might be hanging out for a bump for if McKesson decides to go for full ownership, 100% ownership of the share capital once that domination agreement is in place.
OK, thanks, Alex. Turning to you, Emiliano, Italian bank stocks have been suffering recently with some of the mid-sized financial institutions reporting lacklustre results. As macroeconomic conditions continue to drag down the sector, what can we expect to see in the coming year?
Like you say, the macro environment will not be kind to them. So consequently, we expect a flurry of M&A and ECM activity in 2014. This will be in the form of rights issues and consolidations. Now, this could be triggered by the ECB asset quality review, which could put further pressure on the bank's balance sheets. And on top of that, you have the progressive phasing in of Basel III, making the sector less profitable as a result of increased capital requirements, leverage, and liquidity ratios. So these mid-sized banks might look to consolidate in order to remain profitable.
And so which ones could we see doing a rights issue next year?
Well, you have the ones that have already announced that they might be looking to do a rights issue. You have Monte dei Paschi, Banca Popolare di Milano, Banca Carige. They've already announced rights issues, but we also expect two other banks could go to market, Banco Popolare and Banca Popolare dell'Emilia Romagna.
And how easy will it be for them to go to market?
None of these capital increases will be easy, and they're also going to be made more difficult by the fact that you have many operations going on at the same time. And there's also the possibility that other European banks could be going to market in 2014, which will make the situation even more difficult.
And which will face the most difficulty?
Well, Monte dei Paschi is probably the best-known case. I mean, it's had a tough last few years with revelations about the use of derivative instruments to hide losses and government bailout, an EC-imposed restructuring plan. This is also probably one of the largest rights issues that we'll see. It's around, expected now at the moment to be 2.5 billion euros. So for a long time, management's been looking for an anchor investor to cover part of this rights issue, and so far they've found nobody. Then you have Carige, Banca Carige, Genoa-based, which is sometimes called the Monte dei Paschi of the North because of similar issues with its balance sheets. They recently posted 1.65 billion of write-downs, which is actually more than its market cap. So again, a difficult context. And finally, Banca Popolare di Milano, its management for the last 2 years roughly has been trying to implement governance changes and has failed to find an agreement with the unions on these governance changes. So recently, they've all presented their resignation. So we're going to see some new management possibly soon. This is probably not an easy context in which to launch a capital increase.
So a turbulent year ahead for Italy's banks. That's it from us. Thanks to Alex and to Emiliano, and thank you for listening.